He is the creator, the author, the legend. I don't know how else to put it, but he is the man of the hour. Too sweet to be sour. Joe Mcgee. What up, my guy? Welcome to the Two Barbarians and a Long Islander show. What's up, Joe?
Hey, I tell you what, that was quite the introduction. I feel like I'm fighting Mike Tyson after that.
It just popped out. Joe Mcgee. You know, you got the kind of name where like if you're like the ring announcer, like your name would be perfect. Like your full name, right? I wouldn't be like Joseph Mcgee. It's gotta be.
It's like Joey Mack.
And in this corner, weighing in at 345 pounds of pure masculinity, he is Joe Mcgee. And then, like, this is where the crowd goes nuts.
I love that.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Not much, man. What's going on? We got a big day coming up. We're just 2 days away for the premiere for Letters for Annie in Connecticut, so we're getting prepared for that. And
I know it's going to be big.
Yeah, big. Really been busy promoting it. We got a lot of people coming. We got a lot of moving parts. We got the soundtrack. We got the movie. We got a lot of cast and crew. We got the red carpet. It's going to be a real lively event.
Right. It definitely is, and I'm only very sad that I will not be in Connecticut this Saturday. But I have Easy Blues will be there, of course, and I will be having him contact me via video chat, and I will be saying hello to a few people, including you. If you know, it'll be busy, but if there's a chance that you will be around, you know, where you can get a minute, I'd love to say hello on the big night, and it will be a big night. Now let's rewind back before we get into the big night. The last time, and you've called onto the show, you know, many times between now and the very first interview. However, we talked for the first time, was it almost a year ago now? I know it's been quite a year, but coming up on a year ago. Do you remember the conversation?
Where are you talking about? In Pennsilvania?
The very first time that you called into the show. The very first interview.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do. Because I came through Freeze. I know Freeze.
Right.
And then we had a show. I think our show was in November, maybe December. It was a little while. Yeah, quite some time ago.
It was the end of November when you called for the very first time. Now, at the time, we did the Freeze interview. I found you as one of Freeze's friends. First, I just happened to look at his page. You were on the front page. You know how when you see a Facebook, you see, like, you know, friends on there, and I was on my computer. And popped up Freeze friends. I clicked your page. I don't know why I even did it. There's no reason why I did it. Just saw it. I clicked it. Hey, who does Freeze know? And then the first thing I saw was you were an author, and I saw some of your statuses at the time. So I don't think it was blocked. So I was able to read them, and it immediately got me interested because we didn't have any authors that were connected to the show at the time. And I was like, well, you know, maybe we can talk to this guy, and he will talk to us, and we'll see what's going on. Long story short, Joe, it's been a whirlwind of a time since we talked for the very first time. You had just completed, I believe you may have just completed The White House is Fake. I don't know how long it was done from that interview, but I know I bought it to support you. Because I was like, I don't know this guy, but he's selling his book for $10 on Amazon. You know, $10, maybe we'll make friends. I'll invest $10 into this guy and support what he's doing. And that may have been one of the best $10 I ever spent because so many doors opened up between the two of us since then. And, of course, I do, of course, want to thank you for that. But you've been a busy man since last November, a very busy man. And you were telling me about the Letters for Annie, novel that you were writing. And at the time, we were just my thought process was, I mean, this guy works hard. But here we are a year later. The progress is finished. The book is, I believe, complete. Right? The book is completely complete at this point.
Yeah, we are in the very, very final phase of the editorial stage. This book will be released a little bit later than anticipated. It's going to come out next month. We're going to have a separate book event for that.
Okay, good,
But right around the corner, the book will be right out right after the movie. This coming December, the book will be out by the end of the month of December.
Nice. So for the last year, you have been working on this novel. You've also been working on a film for the novel.
Yes.
And this is kind of new grounds for you. Is that safe to say? I mean, you did do some of the YouTube videos for The White House is Fake, but this is an official movie. This is from like beginning to end. I'm not sure if you've done one before that, but to my knowledge, this is a much bigger step with this project than maybe with the last one, just because of the success of the last one, and now you went full forward and actually decided to become a director and a filmmaker. And I guess my first question would be, what made you go that route? What made you not just say, "Hey, I could write a book, but maybe I can make a film out of this as well"? What was the thought process in that?
Yeah, I think for me though, yeah, you're absolutely right. Letters for Annie is on a much bigger scale. We've gone from a Chihuahua, and now we got like a Rottweiler on steroids right now. He's big, he's muscular, he's huge, he's bursting out of his fur, and so Letters for Annie right now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to challenge myself time and time again. I always want to go bigger, go bigger, go bigger, and this particular movie is much bigger. You're completely right, full movie from beginning to end. I mean, we're talking a feature film that's going to be about an hour and 20 minutes is the runtime.
Wow. So that's a full
1 hour, 20 minutes.
Oh, 120 is a full film. It's not even just about, like, there are many films that are even less than that. So an hour and 20 minutes. Can you give us an idea of what Letters for Annie is? Because you say Letters for Annie, but some may not know what that means. That don't follow what's going on daily. So for those listeners, can you give us a little, just a story arc of what the film is about? It sets place in World War II, and just a little idea of what.
Yeah, absolutely. So Letters for Annie. The full title is Letters for Annie. Like you said, Memories from World War II. It was conceived by John Lombardo, who is one of the Lombardos. He gave me 200. Maybe 300 real World War II letters. And he told me he knows I write books. He doesn't write books. And he said, "Joe, can you help me with this project?" And I said, "Sure, I'd love to." And the big problem for me, not really a problem, but a big challenge is a lot of my ideas, The White House is Fake, that's all in my head. Now, this book here, I'm actually starting based on letters. So it's kind of like, the story is real, the letters are real. But I don't know the full extent of the story. I know what happened by the letter. There's a date on it. There's a location. Right. Well, by reading the letter, I don't know what happened before or after. So I'm adding a little bit of fiction to fill in the gaps because I don't know, what happened with the letter, right? So if he is having a conflict with a superior officer, and I don't know what happened before or after, so I add a little bit of fiction in there.
Sure. Now, do you find that's easier? Like, being that you have somewhere to start with, to be able to branch off of that, or is it easier to just completely come up with something in your head from start to finish?
Oh, much easier. From like a lot of it, like The White House is Fake was a complete 100% memory dump. The whole idea came to me in my head, and I just kind of internalized it, dumped it out, pushed the content out. This one, it's a lot of research. It's about dates. It's about ships. It's about people. It's about kind of underlaying the story, really telling the brother's story. This is just so much different.
Sure. So wait, which one was easier? Because you said easier, but I didn't know which one you were talking about.
My idea. Any idea I have on my own ideas, much easier. This was much harder.
Right, because you had to do the research.
Yes.
Now it's funny because as a musician, it's actually the opposite. When I have when I'm writing a song and there's already a hook to the song, I hear that hook. I know what the hook is about. I know where I'm going to start my thoughts on the song. Now, of course, that's completely different from writing, a book and a movie and coming off with research and everything else. But I guess my point was, for me, it's easier to have somewhere to start and then branch off from there. But in your situation, it was actually harder So I think that's actually very very interesting thing that I didn't even know, and I'm learning something here. Now I guess
here's another quick thing for you. Just kind of made me think of something. Is I'm sure the fans might want to know this. They might want to know what's harder, in my opinion, making a movie or writing a book.
Well, I was actually on my list of.
You're going to say that.
That's all right.
Nice.
I was actually that question was coming, but since you brought it up, please do tell.
Yeah, so there's a lot of parallels in the work because with writing, it's a lot of countless hours, a lot of editing, it's a lot of kind of wordsmithing. It's kind of really putting some hooks, some plot twists, and doing different things with the stories, the characters, character development. With a movie, it's kind of more easier, kind of putting it together. But the hard part is time management, being on location, filming on time, getting off of the set on time. Making sure you have good sound, making sure the lighting is good, making sure, the edits. That's really the bread and butter. That's really what takes the longest in the filmmaking is the edits. In the book writing, obviously, it's the writing.
Right.
Edits is quick. It's easy. I mean, it's not quick, but that's a little bit different. But I think they're both challenging in their own way.
Sure. Now, that actually brings me to my next question. And honestly, I look back to, I know I've told you I was a big fan of the Game of Thrones books, and the Song of Ice and Fire were the books, and of course they made the HBO series out of that. And I was watching an interview from George R.R. Martin, who was the author, and I'm sure you've heard of him, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess something that came out in his interview, the one that I watched, it actually made me think to you because obviously you're running a parallel of what he's doing. Not a HBO series, but a movie. And I guess something that George R.R. Martin said that was interesting to me was, I write the books, and it may take me forever to do them, but in my mind, it's my mind. It's my books. I write what comes to my mind. When making this HBO series, like you just said, sure, time and cuts, and you have to do this, and of course money. Money's always a big thing, and of course there's always a budget. Whereas in your mind, there's no budget. What comes to your mind is what comes to your mind. And I think that makes a lot of reasons why books sometimes tell more of a story than a film, because in a film there's restrictions. So I guess that brings me to my next question: is the film itself, like when you watch the film and you read the book, would you say the book is much more detailed than the film will be? Is there a lot? You said there's parallels, but is there big differences? Or do the stories change? Is there, what would you do first? Should you read the book first, or would you watch the movie first, or what would be your opinion?
That's a great question. I really can appreciate that question. And what I would say to that is I would recommend either one. But if you're going to do the movie, I would definitely recommend reading the book. The book is always going to have more in it. What I did was I made the movie with some very, very important key scenes from the book. So the book, you're going to even find out more about the story, more events, more humor, what really some of these operations were, like Operation Merchant, what the extent of that was. We only talk about it in the film, but we don't really get into the nitty and gritty as far as what happened with the Japanese merchant ship. We don't talk about that in the film. We only hint about it. So if you read the book, you're going to see a lot more than the movie. Because if I really, really did the book in its entirety and I put that into the film probably would have been a good, 3-4 hours, and I didn't want
Right,
that.
then you're looking at a miniseries more than just a film.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's actually something that I could see in the future with you, Joe. Like I said, you seem to get bigger and bigger with everything. So I say, you're in your mid-30s now. By the time you're in your mid-50s, I can only imagine.
Well, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that. Reflections is going to be even bigger and better, higher production value. I'm really excited about it. And you're actually in it, and that's going to be really exciting for you. I think this is going to be a lot of fun for you kind of diving into this.
That's a shame. This time I don't get to beat him up. There's a video of me beating Nick up.
What he's referencing, Joe, is we shot a music video a few years back, and in the music video, Chris beats the crap out of me in the woods. And we never were able to release that video because the gentleman that shot the video and was supposed to create it for us, he disappeared, and we never saw footage ever. So that's a whole other story. Yep. We got screwed on that one, and he was actually part of the song, so it really screwed off the project, and that's a whole other story. We'll get into that. But yes, Chris got to beat me up, so he is mad that after all this time, he finally got to beat the crap out of me, but you can never see it because we don't have the footage anymore. So.
How I dragged him through the mud. I threw him up against trees. I pretend to hit him with the fucking stick and a fucking pipe.
You know what it was? This was all premeditated for Reflections. This was the Russian training that you were supposed to get. That's why you guys did this. I know that.
Oh man.
Well, wait a minute. I'm not doing I'm not beating anybody up. I'm getting my ass kicked. From what I understand, I get to kill somebody in this film. So it's the opposite. It's the other way around.
Oh. That'll be interesting.
Don't worry. When I kill him, I'll think of you, Chris. Don't worry.
You know what? It's okay. But you know, the most watched person when you look on that list is going to be Nick, and it's going to be that one section of the movie. That clip of him getting beat up.
Well, since we're on the subject of it, but actually, before we even get to that, there was one more question. I wanted you to talk about the film production, like the people you're working with to actually make this, to make Letters for Annie. I know that this is your thing, but there was also, if I remember correctly, you actually have a production company that's helping you out with this. And I was kind of hoping maybe you would throw a little light their way and say who they are, maybe say how you guys met, how the process even started, because this is big. I mean, I've seen trailers, and trailers are on YouTube now, and this isn't just shoot with an iPhone. This is real production, you know. And
absolutely right. Probably a week or two ago, I was on local Boston TV network. I was in Roxbury, Mass. We went to the studio with Random Film Studio. That's the film studio company that you're referring to.
Right. Yeah. I couldn't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Shoot me for not researching the name before the interview, but I did have it in my mind, in my notes, make sure to ask about the studio. And thank you for answering without me actually having to ask.
So Random Film Studio and Mark Thompson, randomfilmstudio.com, are the ones that we kind of do, many different things for each other. Myself, I'm under Mcgee Productions, so when you see Letters for Annie, it's going to say Mcgee Productions Presents, and then in association with Random Film Studio. He's the cinematography. He's the one that kind of does all of that for me, all the audio. And he's also in Connecticut-based, such as myself. And I've known Mark for probably, let's see, maybe 7 years now.
Oh, wow. So you guys have. I did not know that. Okay, just learned something new there.
Yeah, long time. But we just really didn't work on the level we're working with up until The White House is Fake. So that was around 2017 is where we really started kicking it off as far as the film stuff.
Sure. Now, real quick, who is Annie? That's something I want the listeners to know. Like you said, there are letters back and forth, and John Lombardo is the person that's sending the letters back and forth to Annie, who's played by Tommy Fury plays his character in the movie, correct?
Tommy Fury plays Tony Lombardo. He's one
Tony
of the
Lombardo.
brothers.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of Lombardo.
If possible, explain the differences. Who is who and who Annie is.
So basically, the real story is set in 1940s, where Annie Connerton, she's basically receiving all of these World War II letters from her brothers. Her brothers are Tony Lombardo, Vic Lombardo, Pat Lombardo, and John Lombardo. 3 brothers from the Navy, 1 brother from the Army, And not just that, but the brothers are writing to Annie, and Annie's writing back. So I have a couple different views from when Annie sends a letter to them and when they send the letter to Annie. So John Lombardo is the one in present time now who basically has possession of the real World War II letters from the 40s. So the story starts off in the present day where John Lombardo has these letters, and he's bringing these letters to Annie in 2007, which was right before she passed. That's how the movie starts, is in 2007. And that's really the month or the year that Annie really passed away.
So, and it progresses to today's day and age, or like today's time over those past 11 years, or is it, that's it, like it's set in 2007?
Basically, so it starts off in 2007. They're in a hospice. Annie called John Lombardo in a frantic state, demanding she wants the box of letters to be brought to her as her dying wish. She's not good, not doing well. She's at a hospice. Right. And so they go to the hospice, and they find out that she just passed away. However, the brothers, Vic, John, and Vic, John, and Pat, have been watching. I put a little supernatural twist in here. As you remember, the White House is Fake had that as well. So they're watching over Annie. They heard the conversation. They know Annie passed. Annie's in something I call the sphere of the Holy Gate. It's kind of like a checkpoint before you go to heaven. So she's there demanding that the brothers bring John and Tony up to the sphere of the Holy Gate to read the letters there in real time, but not just in real time. The brothers will actually tell the story in their own words in the sphere of the Holy Gate, and that's when we flash back to the 40s. So it goes from color to black and white, and that's how I bridge the real stories from the real brothers' mouths in the sphere of the Holy Gate. That's where I do a little bit of my writing. Very
interesting. Now I saw the trailer and the scene for that, and I remember reading that, and I was not sure what that meant because I didn't know the story. So now that's interesting, very interesting. So it's going to come out on the 10th of November at Strand Theater in Connecticut. Are we looking for it to go to other theaters as well, or is it going straight to Amazon, or how are people going to be able to see this film?
Yeah, I want to get a little bit of friction on the film first. So anytime I have a movie premiere, you'll be able to get the DVD immediately after seeing it, but that'll be the only way for a while because I want to hit more theaters. So after Seymour, Connecticut, November 10th, 7 p.m. is when we're premiering it this Saturday. I'm going to hit some other ones, New Jersey, Massachusetts, probably Rhode Island, a few more. I'm going to try to see if I can get them in there. I want to get a good friction on some theater. AMC, obviously everyone knows AMC, the big national brand. They have a way where you can submit for independent films. I'm going to try to get in there, see what they say. That'll be next. Basically a long run, probably a couple months from now. It'll be on DVD on my website, lettersforannie.com, and also stream on Amazon.
Awesome. I am looking very forward to seeing this film. And, of course, the book will be being released in the next month or so. But you have more projects. You don't stop. You're releasing this, but you're already getting into Reflections. Reflections, a lot of people are getting confused.
Step back for a moment, though. Before we get into Reflections, one other critical piece is the soundtrack. Original soundtrack is going to be played on the movie. It's going to be released also as a soundtrack, and your song, No One's Laughing at God, will actually be playing in the movie and available on the soundtrack, along with other artists. Freeze on there. Buzz Bomb, Easy Blues, Roy and Rosemary. So it's going to be quite the mix of generations of music in there.
Very, very, very dope. Of course, how could I forget to bring up the soundtrack when I'm actually on it? As is easy, by the way. It's, man, you gave me an opportunity, and there's no words, more than thank you so much for the opportunities that I can even think of, and to appreciate on how appreciative that I really am, for you to include me, because you didn't have to do it. you know, and it was very easy. You know, we sat down, we talked about it, and then boom, that was it. It wasn't much more than that. And I remember just a little bring back to that. I remember finding it was actually Kelly, my girlfriend, that found the beat, and she was so positive that this should be the beat that we used, and I was so against it. I was like, I do not like this beat. I don't want nothing to do with this. I want something completely different. But she pushed it, and she pushed it, and I remember talking to you about it, saying, yeah, she gave me the beat. I don't know how I feel about it. You liked it, I believe. I believe you liked it.
I just when I first heard it, you know, it really set the song right, the lyrics right, and the tempo right, and I thought it was a smart choice. So I don't know what the other one was, but
no, it wasn't.
You know,
it was just a great beat.
Song.
Yeah, it was just the beat itself. Okay. There was nothing more than just a beat. I did not like it. I was like, oh, I don't want to write to this. Like, I feel like I could do better on something else. But she pushed it, and she without her even knowing you, she was like, he'll love it. And I was very worried that she wouldn't. And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, I'm telling you, I hear it, I know it, and I'm telling you right now, this is what you need to use. And, you know, as I wrote the first verse, I started getting into it a little more. As I got to the second verse, I was hooked. And then came the editing process. Yeah. And I took forever, which I tend to do sometimes. But I wanted to do it a certain way with the mixing and the editing and all that. And when I remember you had came to my house right before I was finished it. And I still need to put together the video footage of that meetup. Actually, she has it herself. I don't even have the footage. She has it on her phone. But it's something I needed to do. I wanted to get done for the release of the music video, which, for those who don't know, the music video for my song, No One's Laughing at God, will be releasing around Thanksgiving. We're shooting for around Thanksgiving time. So, beginning of November for this, Thanksgiving for my video, soundtrack being released on the November 10th as well, and then the book being released, in December, we're guessing, somewhere around Christmas?
Yeah, I'd say right around Christmas time.
Perfect time to release it. So it's going to be a 1-2 shot. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Music video. I'm sorry. Film, soundtrack, music video, book, and going right into 2019 with Reflections. Reflections I fell in love with the moment you originally talked about it. I thought, man, and I'm going to let you have the floor with that. We're not going to get too into Reflections because the interview is obviously about Letters for Annie. But if you want to give a sneak peek on what Reflections will be about, please feel free to.
Yeah, real quick. So Reflections, it's kind of a Russian sci-fi thriller about the Russian government. Red Star Telecommunications is a front for the military, the Russian Federation Army. And what happens is Andy, he's the main character in the movie and the book, and he's riding a public transport bus. He wakes up. He's covered in blood. He looks down. He doesn't know who he is. Why is he covered in blood? How did he get on the bus? He has no idea. The bus stops. They call the cops on him. Cops come. Who are you? Well, I don't really know. I think I'm this guy, Andy. It says it on my license. Do you live at this address? Yeah, I think I do. They take him to his address, and they pull the bodies of his wife and 2 children. So the book starts off in the middle, then we learn the backstory, then we come back to present, then we move from present to forward. And there's a lot of different flashbacks and characters. It's going to be a huge, huge production, a lot more characters, and a lot more women in this one. A lot more women.
A lot more women.
Yeah, so a very, with the letters, we had more of a male cast, male characters in the book. Reflections, the main character is a male, but we have so many female characters at the time. Right.
Well, it's just going to be something incredible, and I'm so looking forward to it. As I am looking forward for of course Letters for Annie as well. It's just great to be. It's great to be Joe Mcgee in 2018. What can I say? That's the way I'm looking at it. It's great to be Joe Mcgee. That could be. Let me tell you something. that's just, a compliment for meeting you, because, as I said to you almost a year ago, I respect, and it just makes me excited to see somebody like a guy like you who just goes out and does it, who doesn't have to talk about it. You just see him, meaning you, of course, making moves, always promoting, always working. I saw the making of the film. I felt like almost every single day you were adding something. Oh, here we are with this. Oh, we're shooting a scene on a boat, and it's just, it's just the way that you operated. It was just amazing to me, and I gotta seriously put you over for that. And I really want the fans to know who you are, and I want them to know who, what this film's about, and of course what the progressions of 2019 are going to be. It's just amazing to see 2018, where you went from where you were a year ago to where you are today, and to look at the future of where you will be in 2019. And
yeah, I definitely appreciate that. I mean, I think not only that, I think our fan base has grown completely. We have folks in Africa right now watching. We have folks in Canada, pretty much all over the world following this story and all the things that I do. So I really want to thank the fans who follow us and believe in us as far as what we do.
Right. And also another thing, just to revert back to The White House is Fake, I'm seeing fans from all over the world with that book.
Yeah,
all
Africa,
types of pictures.
All around the world. Canada,
all around the world.
Everywhere.
I think that's freaking awesome, man. Completely awesome. So, in closing, please give your website, your social media sites, everywhere you can, to have people know, what you got going on. And, of course, how to check out what's going on with Letters for Annie and Reflections. And, of course, The White House is Fake. Where can we find you?
Yeah, absolutely. The White House is Fake. You can find the videos of the book at thewhitehousesfake.com. You can find more information about Letters for Annie at lettersforannie, ANNIE.com. Reflections, if you type in projectchameleon.us. You can find my YouTube channel, Mcgee Productions. You can find me on Facebook under Mcgee Productions, White House is Fake, and Letters for Annie.
All right.
Thank you.
And, of course, on IMDb as well.
IMDb, you can find me under my name, Joseph Mcgee, not the boxing title, Joe Mcgee.
Joe Mcgee! In the corner! And it's weird because you go by Joseph Mcgee in almost everything, but I just will not call you Joseph. It's always going to be Joe Mcgee. Like, it's just what it is. Like, for me, it runs smooth. It's like Joe Mcgee. Joe Mcgee. It's like almost one word. But, for that's just, that's like calling me Nicholas Repples. Like, you know what I mean? That's a long one. You just call me Nick, or Nicky. So
Yeah.
Or asshole.
or dickface. Whatever you want.
Fucking meatball.
Hey, meet the ball. Anyway, Joe, November 10th is coming, and we'll be promoting big time. I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight, man. It means a lot, and you have the support of me and, of course, the rest of the show. As much support as you need, and anything we can do to help get this train moving, to more and more people, to bigger, one of us grows, we all grow. You know what I mean? It just comes like
Absolutely.
that. You're definitely part of the family, and I feel blessed to have met you, and I'm just excited to see where the future lies.
Absolutely. One last quick closing is Letters for Annie movie premiere. It's open to the public this Saturday, November 10th, Strand Theater, Seymour, Connecticut. Tickets are $5. All proceeds are going to the Veteran Fund. It's called the Pearson Fund, to help spread awareness for the veterans and help them out with their needs. So get your tickets. You can get them at the theater on the day of. Theater capacity is about 280. We have about probably now around maybe 145, 150 in attendance right now.
Very, very dope. Very cool, man. And that means there's still another 100 and some odd, people that can come to this. So hopefully we can help spread the word, and we will. Make sure you check it out. Letters for Annie, Saturday night. What's the time again? 7 o'clock?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Saturday night, 7 p.m. That's New York time, of course, Connecticut time. Make sure if you're in the area, you go show some support for Joe Mcgee.
It's Mike Tyson with one punch.
And of course, for the film Letters for Annie, and as Joe said, it's helping out vets as well. I mean, many of us have vets in the family. You know what I mean? These are the people that fought for us, that fought to make the country what it is today. And I mean, that is, my father's a vet. You know what I mean? Like, my father was in the military, and nothing, of course, but respect on my end from it. And I just want, again, one last thing, just to let you know how much I appreciate the work that you do, and of course the show and everything else. And we just thank you for coming onto the show, and of course for the opportunities you've given me personally, and you've given the show. Like, we really want to thank you, and we want to, give you all the support and all the good luck that we can give you, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. So go check out the movie, get your book in December, get your soundtrack, and come see the movie this Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Joe. And, you're more than welcome to stay on the line, and we're going to get into the poll of savagery and the student out of the week poll next, so that should be interesting. And we got some callers as well. So thank you again for calling in, Joe. And make sure you guys go check out, if you're in Connecticut, Letters for Annie in Seymour, Connecticut at the Strand Theater, 7 p.m. Saturday night. Make sure to keep your eye open for the soundtrack and, of course, the book and the film eventually all going to be released on Amazon. And thank you very much, Joe, for calling in.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Have a good one. I'll be on the line listening. So have a great show, and we'll keep on listening. So let's kick some ass here.
All right, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Joe. We'll talk to you. All right.
All right.